and welcome back to our channel. So recently Disney Springs opened up and we were able to go there, see how the crowds were, see how the process was to get through the screening points, and we actually got to go out to eat, which was really nice after a couple months of quarantine and just getting back to some of that Disney magic, that Disney feeling. Because even in their shopping district, which is Disney Springs, you felt like you were back at Disney, which was really awesome. We ended up getting there about an hour and a half early because we were reading that just because you have a reservation at one of the restaurants, it does not mean that it grants you access to Disney Springs. So we ended up getting there an hour and a half prior. And to be honest, at least for the day that we went, it really wasn't needed because I feel like people were still arriving when we were leaving at the end of the day. And
we were one of, I think, 3 vehicles when we first got there. And then by the time we decided to go, I'd say not even half of the floor was filled up.
Yeah. It definitely did not seem like it was packed. Now, granted, this was on a Friday during the day, so people could have been working. I'm actually going to be heading back after we film this to go back to Disney Springs, so I can kind of give you an update later on to tell you how the crowds were. But as of the day that we went, it wasn't bad.
And we were lucky the weather was really nice out.
Yeah, it was. So when we got to Disney Springs, like we said, it was kind of empty. The screening checkpoint. So you end up going up. They direct you around this like little pathway, and it puts you right back at these screening tables. At the screening tables, you walk up. They take your temperature with a thermometer, so no contact between you and the screener. And once your temperature is taken, as long as you're not, I believe, over like 100.1, 0.4, something like that, then you're able to go. If you are flagged and they say, well, hey, you can't go, that is when they bring you to another location to maybe cool down, kind of take a breather. Because if you didn't know, Florida is extremely hot. Whether that will determine or whether that affects your temperature while they're screening you, I'm not very sure about that, but that's why they give you that option to kind of go into a different location, let you cool down for a little bit, and then retake your temperature. If you are not able to bring your temperature down, they deny you access, and I believe you have to have 2 to 3 days consistently of not having that temperature before you can come back. Now, granted, I don't know whether or not they take your information down and kind of fact check that. This is kind of a new experience, and they really haven't put out the guidelines on what they would do exactly with a person that was flagged. But it's definitely, like I said, it's a new experience, and we're going day by day. So when we went into the park, nothing was, or not the park, but the shopping center, nothing was open for a while.
Well, we were there an hour early.
Yeah, we got there at like 10. I think everything started opening up at 11.
Yep. Some places 11:30.
Yep. And at the time that we went, it was only third-party retailers that were open. So nothing owned by Disney was actually opened. So we got to experience some of Disney Springs, but not all of it.
It was just nice to be able to walk around and get out.
Oh, yeah. And as of today, a good majority of the stores are open now. I know World of Disney opened back up. They said that they have stormtroopers walking around kind of enforcing the 6-foot policy guidelines, and it kind of brings in that Disney magic for the kids. The one thing that was completely different is that face masks are required now. So when we went there, we had to wear a face mask at all times unless you're eating and drinking. In the restaurants, you're able to take your face mask off. relax, breathe a bit, and that was nice because while the weather was nice for the most part, it did start to get a little hot, and my face mask, the one I was wearing that day, was kind of small for me, so it felt restricting. So as soon as we were able to get into the restaurant, I ripped that thing off and I was able to kind of breathe and recoup. But like I said, I think that really has to do with the size of my face mask. So we're going to try a different one today and see how that goes.
I suggest to highly maybe walk around your house for a little bit and have your mask on just to make sure it's the right size before you go out into Florida.
Oh yeah, and then also if it's a hot climate, like if you're coming from out of state, try walking around outside for an hour with that face mask on and kind of see how you feel, because it might not be a happy experience for you coming to Florida or being in Florida and walking around Disney with a face mask on. And kids might react completely differently with a face mask on because they might be irritable and they might hate it. And this is kind of a example of what it's going to be like being in the parks when they eventually open back up, which Disney has announced their dates for opening back up. They're going to be opening back up mid-July. First is going to be employee preview. We actually just received an email that announced that pass holders will be getting a pass holder preview before the official opening back up of the parks, which is really cool. We're going to try to get in on that. It's going to be a reservation style. So even as like for us as pass holders, we're going to have to reserve a day that we want to go to the park, and as long as we're able to get in, that's how we're going to be able to get into the parks. Even though we have tickets, that doesn't mean we automatically grant access to the parks. I think this is a really good thing for Disney. It allows them to control the amount of people that show up to the parks, and that way you don't travel all the way there and just to be disappointed and turned away. They also announced that all new ticket sales are suspended for the time being. Again, that's a way for them to control the fact that people could travel hours, even from different states, come just to go to Disney. They get there and they go, oh, well, we hit capacity. Sorry about that. And again, I think that just protects Disney, that protects the people that are visiting Disney, the guests. So like I said, I think that's a really good idea. So hopefully within the next couple weeks, between 4 or 5 weeks, we'll get some more information on the reservation system that's going to come into place. And hopefully we can grab our own reservation to head into the parks, and then we'll be able to show you how the parks are going to run with all the new quarantine rules and regulations. So as of Disney Springs, we ended up going, we had reservations for steak, or STK, however you want to call it. The restaurant was great. I'd say it's one of the higher tier restaurants at Disney Springs. The pricing is very expensive. At a minimum, I think you're paying for a 6-ounce steak. I think you're paying like $45, $50.
Over 40.
Over 40, yeah. Just for the steak alone. There's no sides included, no drinks, no nothing. So it's just the 6-ounce steak, and that's at the minimum. Lauren ended up getting the 6-ounce filet, and I ended up getting, I believe, the 6-ounce filet as well. And then it was like a surf and turf. So I ended up getting the steak plus shrimp. How'd you end up liking your steak?
So we've eaten there before, but I absolutely love eating there. So I love steak, and they are top notch when it comes to how they prep it. It melts in your mouth. It is a perfect filet.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think The steak was top quality. We love going there. It's not a place that we frequent often because we like to keep some money in our bank account, but no, it's really good though.
But because we haven't been able to eat out in a while, we did go a little ham on the extras. Like there's a sauce selection that they do, 6 different sauces that you can dip your steak into, and we got that. And of course, you're gonna be putting up the video.
I would say, yeah, it's a really cool experience just for the fact that they have so many. They had like 8, 9 different sauces to choose from. You can choose one for your steak, or you can buy the plate, which is I believe is $16 or $17. They bring out every sauce, and it was cool to go through each sauce and try the different flavors. I think out of the 8 or 9, we only disliked 2, and the rest of them were great. I had trouble picking which one I wanted to choose on my next bite because of how well they made those sauces.
And then they had the trio of the mac and cheese, and we got all 3 because, again, we love mac and cheese.
Yeah.
So
the trio of mac and cheese. So I was under the impression, now I don't know if you were, but I was under the impression that it was going to be smaller portions of mac and cheeses that they would bring out for the trio. The trio is full plates of mac and cheese. It's full serving sizes. So they had the lobster mac and cheese, they had the regular mac and cheese, and then they had a bacon lovers mac and cheese.
And all 3 were beyond amazing.
Yeah, the mac and cheese was amazing. I absolutely loved them. I think out of the 3, you loved the regular mac and cheese, right? The most.
You can never go wrong with original. I'm not hating on the lobster and the bacon because those were bacon. I mean, I love bacon, but I'm sorry, you just can't beat original.
For me, it would be a tie between the regular and the lobster mac and cheese. I love the bacon mac and cheese. I enjoy lobster a little bit more. I think it's really good.
So like the noodles, perfectly cooked, not overdone, not underdone, where it gets like rubbery or it gets like it melts in your mouth. You're like,
or the cheese is so melted that it's just like liquid with the noodles sitting in it. Yeah,
exactly. The cheese, you could tell it was real cheese because that is a pet peeve. Do not give me mac and cheese that does not have real cheese in it.
Yeah.
And you could just tell the cheese was on par. It was gooey. It was so flavorful. It's just this beautiful, savory goodness that just worked perfect with your steak.
Oh yeah. So we had the steak, we had the mac and cheese. I ended up getting a side of asparagus. You're not a big fan of asparagus. I love asparagus, and I thought they did a really good job. It had some firmness to it, but it was also soft. I know there are certain places where I go, I order asparagus, and it's almost like it just falls apart, which that's not something I like. Or it's on the other end of the spectrum, and it's so hard that I'm like, I have a steak knife and I'm still struggling to get through it, which to me, that's not an ideal asparagus.
And then adding to our carb overload, I got the mashed potatoes because theirs is cooked so well. It is creamy, but it's not like a watered down, almost like a soup. If you ever had that, not good. This was a perfect, consistent mashed potato that, again, kind of like with you, it was hard to determine what sauce to use on it because it all worked really well.
And as a food, I think that was it, right? That you ended up getting a dessert as well.
I did. I got a chocolate cake because, again, it's been a bit since we got to have desserts, and I have no shame. I wanted a chocolate cake. Yeah,
so we went a little crazy on this outing, but it was really good. We're excited to show you all the food that we were able to get. Like I said, this is a higher tier restaurant. We ended up paying a little under, I think, $300 for everything. So just to kind of give you an idea. Now, granted, most people aren't going to go and order the 3-tier mac and cheese, order, all the addings that we did. But just to kind of give you an idea, if you have a family, more than just 2 people, you're probably still going to look at closer to 300, if not more, with all your meals. It's definitely, like I said, it's pricey, but if that's something you want to do, if that's something you want to splurge for, I definitely recommend it. The presentation of the food was top notch. The taste of the food was astounding, and the service was fantastic. I thought the service, they go above and beyond taking care of you, making sure you have everything you need. And it felt like being pampered, which was, it's an ideal service.
The wait service is always amazing over there. And I really like that you have the choice. They have outside seating and they have inside. So if it's like a gorgeous day, we've been outside before when it was just perfect weather. And then obviously, because it's Florida, it gets hot. So we have the option to be in nice air conditioning.
As I say, at the time when we went this last time and ate, it started getting really hot. And I'm not a fan of being outside sweating and eating at the same time. So I did enough of that in the military. So if I have a choice, I'm going to be eating on the inside in the air conditioning. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. But no, overall, I definitely recommend this place. It is, like I said, it's pricey, but it's worth the money if you are willing to spend it. But as of Disney Springs overall, I didn't feel uncomfortable when we went. I didn't feel like we were in any danger, I would say.
No, everyone was really good who was there. They kept by the rules. We didn't have people fighting with each other. Everyone kept their space.
Yep. It was an ideal situation. I think Disney is handling the COVID-19 outbreak
to the best of their ability.
And in a serious manner. They're taking the precautions that are needed. I will definitely say I saw more cleaning crews than I've ever seen at Disney. And as the day went on, I noticed they were cleaning the same thing that I saw last time. So it looks like they're doing rotational crews and going through and making sure that every spot that someone could potentially touch is cleaned at all times.
And all the store owners cleaned all the handles to the doors anytime anyone touched them.
Yep. Yeah, we went into the Pandora store. They were fantastic. They literally had one person standing at the door cleaning a door every time someone touched it. And that puts more confidence in me wanting to go there and enjoy my time there with the current pandemic going on. So I definitely think that they're not only taking the necessary precautions, but they're also showing visitors and guests that they are putting in the effort, they are doing the best that they can, and that they're trying to make you feel as comfortable as possible while visiting their location. So overall, it was a fun day. We had great food. We had a great time enjoying.
Company.
Yeah, good company. We had a good time just being back at Disney. Disney, with Lauren working, I do full-time school at home. I'm in the tail end of my bachelor's degree. Like this week, I had finals week and really stressing out about certain things. And Disney has always been our way. Disney and Universal, pretty much any theme park in this area, has been our way of de-stressing, taking a situation in life and kind of just making it a little bit better. Disney has always brought us happiness, brought us joy, and being without it for a couple months was definitely it
It was very hard on you.
Yeah, it was very hard on me, for sure. Out of the two, I think I took it the hardest.
I'm a little more patient.
Yeah.
I knew that Disney would come back when things started to settle down, so I knew it wasn't a permanent thing. But yeah, you needed someplace to decompress, and you couldn't go there anymore.
It's theme parks, Universal. Since because I worked at Universal and I've been around Disney my whole entire life. These are my second home. This is a place where I've been since I was a kid, and not being able to go back was definitely interesting. It was very hard, but I definitely understood why they closed it, why they're taking the precautions. But it was just nice to be back, and I'm very much looking forward to going back to the parks once they open back up. Seeing the level of care that Disney has provided just at Disney Springs alone, I don't have any worries going back to the park once they open back up. I know Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom will be opening up first, following Epcot and Hollywood Studios a couple days later. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and I'm excited to go back, and I'm excited to take you back and be able to show you everything that Disney has to offer, be able to show you the level of care that they are providing because of this pandemic that's going on, and to be able to show you that I definitely think, like I said, that these locations are a little bit safer, and that you shouldn't feel scared coming back to the parks, especially because at the beginning it's going to be reduced capacity. So it won't be as bad. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share the video, show your friends. And until next time, I hope y'all have a wonderful month. And we will see you again. Bye.